do their basic blocking and tackling, okay? They were not earning that championship team, that championship, that title of best ship, best watch team, best sailor, whatever it was. They weren't earning it. And if you don't practice, those skills go away very, very fast. And so it's not really too much of a mystery, right? You gotta go out and earn it every single day. Okay, so happy to share all of the investigative material into each of the incidents, the comprehensive review we did looking over all of the incidents. We did this operational pause, right? I hope you got a chance to do some of that, right? Where everybody got together and what can we learn from this? And so those are all the things that we're doing to make sure that this doesn't happen to us again, that we earn our title every day, all the way down to the individual level, okay? All right? Does that get your question? Okay. All right, who's got the next one? It's a very, very well-behaved group, I gotta say. Yeah.
Hello, sir. I'm T2 Wilson, USFK, J3. Thank you. I'm a little shorter than everybody else. Our Navy has a lot of technology. It's very important in moving towards the future, sir. But what are some implications as we rely more on technology and we might reduce manning, IG, like in the DG-1000, the zones?
Yeah.
Because it has a smaller personnel than normal destroyers,
right?
You know, of the old class.
Yeah.
You know, do you see that moving towards all of the Navy? Are we going to reduce manning, or are we putting manning somewhere else and, you know, having more destroyers? Does that make sense?
What about this whole manning thing? Is that, manning and technology, right? What's the relationship? Okay, it's a good question. Long answer, so have some. It's a really interesting question because at some sense, a lot of the stuff that we used to do by manual plot, like navigate, right? Any quartermasters in the room? Okay, well let me tell you, we got them in the Navy, and they navigate, right? They're the ones that they plot the ship's position, they generate tracks and all that stuff. They do that ship stuff. And we used to do all of that on paper charts, all of it, right? You get your paper chart, you have to do the chart updates, right? Do all of that, and then you lay your track out. It was all done by pencil and rulers and all those charting tools, right? You remember those, the dividers and everything? And what's that?
Moboards.
Moboards, yeah. That's a little bit different, but you're right. It was all manual, right? Right, Master Chief? So the one good thing about doing it manually is you learned kind of the principles of what you were doing. Right? You had to kind of do the calculations on your own. I started off with a slide rule, no kidding. But I'm sure that most of you got your start with a calculator. But at least you went through you kind of did the you understood what was happening, right? You had to learn the principles. And now with sort of one aspect of this automation stuff is that you may or may not have to learn the principles because the machine can do all that stuff for you. Oh, by the way, you can give it this really stunning display too. I mean, it looks really, really real, right? And the truth of the matter is, if you don't, you got to be able to look at that display and make it a judgment as to whether it's telling you the truth or not, right? So you got to still understand the underlying principles. And so that's one thing about, automation or technology and manpower that we have to watch. The people still have to understand the fundamental processes and underlying things. Otherwise, the machines could go crazy, we wouldn't even know it, right? So that's one thing. Now, you also talked about sort of, can technology replace people, right, through automation? And I think the answer to that is absolutely yes, right? I mean, we're seeing it all over the place. It's not even a question, it's a fact that is happening. And so, before too long, we're not going to have people driving cars unless they want to do it for fun, right? And then they'll probably have to have a separate course for us to go off and drive, because they're not going to let us drive with the robots, right? Because the robots are better, right, at this, you know, and so it's happening. This revolution is in progress, and we're going to not be a competitive Navy if we don't keep up with that. But my sense is you got to sort of be, you know, all in on a manned ship, right? If you're going to put a sailor on a ship, you got to put enough sailors on that ship to run that ship with sailors. Okay? You can't go halfway. And sometimes as a Navy, we've done that in the past, and we've had to correct, right? So this is why meetings like this are great. And I'll go down, you know, one of my next stops is in Japan. I'll go down and we'll talk to some of those crews. You've served on those crews. We've done manning experiments with those ships, and sometimes it just doesn't work out, right? And we cut too deep, and it's like, hey, that was a mistake. We went too far. We need to get some of those people back, and that's happened. Right? That's happened steadily in the DDGs, and we're probably going to correct upwards again.